Are you good? All right, first question for Coach Kane. Go ahead, Dub.
Hey Kevin, just, I guess, after having a chance to watch the film, just what were your overall takeaways from Saturday?
I think there was improvement. Obviously I think the last, two plays leave a bad taste in your mouth, but I do think as a unit, those guys played hard, they played aggressive, they were physical. I think guys like Will Helt had one of his better games. I think there was a lot of stuff that we can build upon and continue to strive to be even better at, obviously, but I think when it comes down to it, in critical moments, we got to be better. Third downs obviously was an issue, and the last 2 plays of the game was something that will kind of sit and eat at me right now. So we just got to find a way to get those critical moments. I thought the guys did play hard. They played well at big points of the game. Second half, coming in the second half, they played a really good second half, I thought. And it's got to continue to build on that energy.
Do you think it can serve as a confidence booster of sorts heading into the final stretch of the season?
Sure, I think so. I think whenever you play well, whenever you do good things, that's going to be something where it should build confidence, right? And then you just got to find out what were the issues and then obviously get those addressed and fixed ASAP. I think those guys they practiced well, like all year long they've practiced well. I think just to get the idea of going to translate that into game day, that's payday. I think those guys actually went out there with that mindset to go like, let's translate what we've done all the last 2 weeks and do great things on the field. They did that. So hopefully that translates into some confidence, and then we got a great challenge ahead of us this week to go play again. So that confidence hopefully carries forward.
Just to follow up on that, since we don't get to watch practice, can you explain maybe what's the thing you're seeing the most in practice that isn't showing up, or that it's making the biggest difference, that it's not translating to game days right now?
I think you can't. You can try to simulate as much of a game day atmosphere as you can. Put it in critical moments. Hey, this is a situation. Hey, it's 2 minutes and a half. This is what we're doing here. This is a potential overtime scenario. And then just the idea of mentally putting yourself in that phase and that point in time, and hey, this is overtime. The pressure of that play. Being just like a game, that's tough to do, right? To simulate the game day experience. You try to put them in those situations. You emphasize, hey, this is where we're at in the field. This is what we're doing. It matters. But then when it's got to carry over to when we're actually out on the game day, right? And if it's a 4th and 1, we got to have this play. You got to be locked in. And in practice, it's like, all right, what's going to happen in practice? And then there's no consequence, right? And you have to keep emphasizing that too. Like this is going to how you practice is how you're going to play, and we just got to keep creating that type of atmosphere and feeling of those guys, like making them uncomfortable, so that way it's comfortable on game day.
What has Jairo Ojada done to push himself up the depth chart?
He's just continually gotten better. I think from where he was in spring to where he's at now. It's funny, we had this conversation on Sunday night. On this, like our 3rd or 4th practice of spring ball, Jairo's getting his head knocked off on a counter play, and he just doesn't understand the physicality of this level of football. And now you've seen like exponential growth between where he was in the spring to where he's at now. And he just does. He's been doing the little things right, and he's a physical player. He's naturally strong. There's a lot of plays where you see him standing up tackles and stuff against Northwestern. So in my mind, he's a young football player, even though he is a senior. And now he's hopefully going to keep getting more confident playing the way that we think he can play and prove what he can do.
How much of that was just acclimating, adjusting to this level of play?
I think it was everything. He came from a smaller school where he may have been a big fish in a small pond, but now he's got to realize what this level of football really consists of. It's big offensive linemen, it's big tight ends, it's a physical running back. It's everything that, no knock on where he came from, but it wasn't that, right? So it takes time for guys that get acclimated, I think, and even with our young freshmen, like it ain't just going to happen. They got to go out there and play, and the more they play, they get confident. I think of a guy like Smiley Bradford, he's getting better because he's getting more confident out there making tackles, making plays. So the more they play, the better they get confident.
Kevin, I think back to after the game Saturday, and I saw Cole kind of slam the ground. He was very frustrated with the way that ended. Is that maybe the best testament to this team? Is they're still fighting? They're still in a season like this. It's easy to give up, and these guys have continued to play for each other.
Yeah, man. Like these kids are unbelievable, you know, and they deserve more, you know. We're like, and we tell them this as coaches, like when you guys lead this team, when you guys are patrolling each other, when you guys care so much, it allows us to hopefully coach and find those little details, right? So, you know, these guys practice hard. Like the year has not gone the way that we have anticipated it going, but these guys go out there and they fight, they prepare. You know, they practice hard, they do everything that we're asking them to do, and now we just gotta, you know, you keep doing good things. And I don't know when it's gonna happen, you know, but good things will happen to these kids, right? And maybe this week, it might be next week, it might be the week after, I don't know. But I know this: if you continue to fight and have resolve, like you're gonna be successful in life at some point down the road. It'll pay you back, right? And that's what we're preaching to our guys, like. Whenever your back's against the wall, you just keep swinging until you can't swing no more, and then when you can't swing anymore, you swing again. You know, so like guys like Cole, guys like KJ Jenkins, guys like you know, Tony Stevens and Dylan Thieneman, like those guys are carrying us on defense because they care and that's the standard, and they want to do well.
How challenging is this for you as a coordinator to go through a season like this, where when you think you fix something else comes up, and this is constantly kind of testing your coaching ability?
Yeah, you know, I know who I am as a coach and what I've been able to do in my past and I continue in the future, you know. So I think every week is a new challenge as it goes through it, and I do understand that like where we are is not where we expect to be. However, this has been a year where, you know, I've had a lot of self-focus and self-reflection of, all right, what am I doing? What am I not doing well enough to where I can help our guys be better? And every week it's something like, all right, I didn't do this. Like I didn't practice this enough this week against these guys. That's on me, right? Or something where I can go back and all right, this is what I got to write down for this week. This is what we got to get accomplished this week, and just so I can put these kids in a better position to win football games.
Hey, Kevin, just some of the issues the Ohio State offense will pose that they keep seeing on film.
Yeah, you know, I think obviously, you know, their roster is it's been well documented. It's one of the, you know, the most talented rosters in the country, you know, and it is that, you know, and their coaches do a really good job of finding ways to get all those playmakers the ball in different situations. You know, there's only one football player, but they got a lot of good football players on it. You know, from the running back position, they got two running backs that are really good. They're physical guys that run downhill and fast. You know, I think at the tight end position, they're big and physical, and then you got the receivers that can go out and make catches, and they utilize those guys in different ways. They don't just run routes and catch footballs. They line them up in the backfield. They do a lot of different things to put stress on the defense, you know, and I think this quarterback has done a really good job coming in and learning a system and managing the system really pretty well, you know. So, you know, there's obviously going to be some challenges for us up front and on the back end, but shoot, man, let's go play. You know, let's put the ball out there and have some fun.
More questions for Coach Kane.